Hey everybody, welcome back to the Flannel Channel. I'm Philip. We're gonna go from this into this. I love it, and I'll show you how we did it. Stick around. So I'm gonna work on trimming up my Crown Victoria frame horns so that my grill surround can actually sit back where it belongs. And then I'm gonna trim up my F-150 frame horns and weld the end of that on so that my bumper can then mount properly. So it was 3.5 inches enough? I don't know. Let's find out. I'm going to cut out some flat pieces of sheet metal and make some caps for the ends of the frame there. And so that way they're kind of sealed up, they look a little bit nicer, and we'll keep junk from getting into our frame horns. And you might be wondering, dude, why aren't you using a plasma cutter or something like that? That'd be way faster. Yeah, it totally would, and I would love that. Plasma cutter is 220 power, and we don't have 220 in the shop just yet. But we're working on it, just using the tools I have available right now. Okay, moving on. Boom. I like it. All right, test fit the grill one more time. Then we paint it and move on to bumper brackets tomorrow. I like it. So what I've done here is I've added a 1x1 square piece of tubing, and that's kind of acting as a spacer to get my factory 79 frame horns that are basically acting as the bumper brackets now, and they are directly below the Crown Victoria frame horns. And that's just kind of getting everything exactly where it belongs, side to side, front to back. And I wanted to try and get our bumper as far back and low as possible. So it's literally resting right on the surround for the grill. So anyway, I'm happy with where it's at. It's all welded in nice and solid. I was hanging on it. And quick spray of some spray paint. Got some fresh hardware that we just ran to the store and got, and we're gonna hang the bumper now. So. And yeah, where a lot of the spots in my grill were broken. Zip ties, because I'm a trained zip tie ninja. And yeah, get in there, trim my tails, good to go, move on. Put some bolts in there too, get some clips. Now, you might be wondering, how are you gonna fit that onto there with those bars in the way? Well, here's my plan, and it might be a foolish plan, but it's a plan, and sometimes plans change. My plan is to shorten the box into 3 sections, and section number 1 is gonna go up against the back wall of the cab. Section 2 will come over the wheel wells. Section 3 will be tailgate and the rear half. And so because we're gonna assemble the bed on the truck, it really doesn't matter. It's actually gonna get welded in place and around it. So yeah, soon, we're gonna cut the floor out of this thing. We're gonna measure the section that needs to be removed, front and rear, and we're basically just gonna go chunk at a time onto the truck. So don't mind these. These are just sawhorses. Storage. You know how anything flat in a shop just becomes an automatic workbench. But yeah, so hopefully that answers the questions that I'm sure many of you are wondering. Dude, how are you gonna do this? And I also plan on making this thing basically kind of a unibody. I'm gonna attach the front wall of the bed to the back wall of the cab. And I bought some parts the other day at the local sporting goods store. Got some hockey pucks, and those are gonna go somewhere like that and that. And those hockey pucks are gonna give us the distance between the back of the cab and the box. So again, that might be a dumb way to do it, but that's kind of how I was thinking of doing it. And so far, things have been working out. So carry on, moving forward.
Time for a weeknight mini project, working on the hot rod. I'm going to polish the stainless steel mirrors. I'm getting ready to put back on the doors and put the doors on the truck. So I thought, yeah, perfect. Won't take that long. I got all the stuff I need right here at home. And so while the kids are working on homework, I'm going to work on the hot rod.
Yeah, I like it so far. Keep going. Some of it's by hand, but a lot of it is just using the bench grinder. All right, moving on to this one. Now, I am really happy with how those turned out. It's awesome. They're really not dinged up too bad, and it's super satisfying to watch 40 years of ugly come back and start looking brand new and beautiful again. So, yeah. I use Time to Shine for buffs and rouge. I'm not going to show you all the ways that I did what I did here tonight for two reasons. Number one, I've done polishing videos before, and so this isn't that style of video. And the other reason is some of what I did with the bench style grinder tonight, some people would consider unsafe because, yeah, the final step that I need to do is this piece of glass is not firmly in this one. Somebody siliconed it years ago. So I'm going to clean all that out, re-glue it, and put it back in. This one is still intact. So the glass is somewhat scratched up. Yeah, it's not awesome, but I'm really glad that we can still use the original mirrors on that thing. I think it's going to be awesome. So clean it up and re-glue it. Move on. Nice. Now here they are all assembled and glued. Looking awesome. And what I'm doing right now is just running a tap through the threads because it's stainless and I really don't want any issues. I have brand new stainless hardware that I picked up at the store. The old hardware that was holding these things together was just all rusty and nasty and gross. So cleaning those up, add just a little bit of NACs just so I don't have galling on my threads, put them all back together, and we have plastic washers and then stainless washers stacked up, and that should keep all the tension on there that I need. If these end up kind of vibrating and bouncing loose, maybe I'll end up having to put Loctite on there. I'm not really sure, but I don't want to begin with Loctite. I would rather be able to adjust these mirrors and keep them looking nice. Can't wait to put them on the truck, but we're not ready to put the doors on quite yet. So for the time being, they'll be cleaned up, polished, assembled, and ready to go when it's time. But yeah, I like it. So this may sound a little bit silly to some of you, but hear me out. I plan to coat my headlights on the project with yellow tint. And there's actually two ways to do that. You can either spray it or you can put film on it. There's a third way, which you can actually buy yellow lenses from like Holly, things like that. I would love to be able to do that, but they are expensive. So I'm doing the route where I go with brand new Napa bulbs, And I am going to grind off the little nubs that are on every single bulb. And reason for that is I want my film that I'm going to be putting over my lenses to lay as flat as possible. I'm going to be using the carbide and flap wheel. I've done it on like a test piece like this. It worked pretty well, and it's not perfect, but hey, I think the film is going to lay a lot flatter on there and be less of a pain in the butt than this. So I've known people that spray these with a yellow tint, and I may end up doing that instead. But for today, I ordered my tint, and I'm going to prep my bulbs. I know that I'm probably creating a weak spot by grinding it down that way, but these bulbs are relatively inexpensive, so I'm willing to give it a shot. Here we go. You can see that worked out pretty well. And so then what I've done on 2 of these is switched over to the little drum sander on the Dremel tool. See if I can get this to focus for you here a little bit. And what that's doing is kind of just smoothing things out a little bit. Here's one that has not been sanded yet. You can tell it's still a little bit rough, but that sander tends to smooth things out a little bit. You build up a little bit of heat. It's easy to let it get too hot, then it starts to get kind of black and smudgy. But yeah, I think the yellow tinting film is going to lay so much better over that instead of having those bumps stick out. And I wasn't going to use those little aligner things anyway. That's actually what those 3 tabs do, is they stick out so that you can put your headlight adjuster alignment tool on there. And so, yeah, don't plan to use it. Let's get those off there. And this took me about, I don't know, 15 minutes or so, something like that. So not too bad, a little bit time consuming, but I like it.
I also have my harnesses on both sides extended a little bit. The turn signals weren't quite long enough for the socket to reach the lens on the pickup. They were long enough for the Crown Victoria, but I had to lengthen them by about 9 inches for the turn signals. Got the soldering iron out, extended those out, got some heat shrink on it, switched over my ends from the Crown Victoria to this style seal beam.
My vinyl showed up from Lux Company, and it looks like really high quality stuff. This is going to be my first attempt at vinyl wrapping or tinting. I've never done this before, so I went through, watched some of their YouTube videos, and yeah, we're just gonna give it a go. Use a little bit of glass cleaner, some simple tools, heat gun, and I'm gonna set up a time lapse. Let's give it a shot. There we have it. I'm really happy with how that turned out. I did not do the final trim all the way around the edge simply because I'm waiting until I'm back at the truck at the shop and I have the stainless ring to put on there, and we'll actually turn these things on, and you know, they get warm just by themselves after 5 or 10 minutes or so with the ring on there. Maybe I'll do the final trim then. But all in all, I'm really happy. I bought 1 foot of this stuff. It's 1 foot by 19.5 inches. It's plenty to do 4 headlights, and I only have 2, so I could actually screw this up and do it twice for about under 20 bucks shipped. And so I'm really pleased with how that turned out. It was easy to work with, really simple tools that I already had, and I think it looks awesome. And yeah, I think it was worthwhile doing those 3 little bumps, getting those off there. I don't know. If you're somebody that's done this before and you left the bumps on there, let me know. Otherwise, I am totally cool with what that turned out as. So, all right. I have to wait a couple days to go and put these on the truck and light them up, but for you, it'll be just a second.
Well, like I was saying, I wanted to make sure that the stainless ring that retains the bulbs in place covers up any of that extra flash that I had in there. So I might trim up just a tiny bit, just in a couple corners, but no big deal. I'm really happy with how that looks. I think it's gonna be awesome. And there we have it. I absolutely love this look. I think it just looks so mean and tough, and yeah, like it's just gonna kill you. I love it. And so I don't have the roof lights working quite yet. I have one of them powered up and it does function, but it needs all new bulbs, and the lenses on top are really, really faded, so I have some new ones ordered. We just had a 2-day blizzard, so Amazon is kind of behind on their deliveries, but as soon as those show up, gonna get the new bulbs and lenses put on, get that finished wired up, so you'll be able to see everything lit up at once. That's my goal, but for now, it's awesome.
I know this kind of looks like a mess, but I think I got everything figured out and it works. I took my original switch for the 79 and I repurposed it so that it's giving a ground signal to the park lamp module. Yeah, pretty rad. Time to slide some heat shrink down on it and seal it up. Pop my switch in permanently. Heck yeah, that's awesome. In case you're wondering, I took the dash pad off simply because we are still in the process of doing the final welding on the bars. So yeah, that's why.
Let me take a quick second and say thank you. I appreciate you watching to the end of the video. Thank you for doing all the things that push our videos out further. That honestly means a lot. Thank you also to our sponsors, because without you guys, we wouldn't be able to be doing this. Hey, if you want to interact with me directly, I spend my time on the Instagram platform. It's @flannel_Philip. And if you're interested in supporting what we're doing here as our father-son project, we have Peace and Grease merch. It's at GoShineOn.com. Hey, and we're also coming out with the Curtis Lowe line of stickers and t-shirts, and that's gonna be really awesome too. So stay tuned for that, that's coming up. And so, hey, thank you again. You guys rock. Peace and Grease. Love it. Oh, hang on. Got a snowblower going, bud.